Last lesson closed with a promise. The house returns with a declension all its own. Today keeps that promise inside a larger prize. The grammar of place. Here one city name carries three ideas.
Rōmam, Rōmā, Rōmē.
To Rome. From Rome, at Rome. No preposition anywhere. The endings do all the work. Most nouns need a little word for to, from, and in. Town names throw it away. And in one corner they keep a case the rest of Latin lost long ago. Today, the three rules of place, their exceptions, the ancient locative, the double declension house, and the start of a great story. A builder imprisoned on an island with only the sky for a road. 13 new words come with this lesson, and 4 are names of places. Learn their grammar along with their geography.
Atene.
Athens, grammatically plural. One city, plural form.
Corinthus.
Corinth, second declension, yet feminine, mark the gender.
Genova.
Geneva, a frontier town of Caesar's province. You will march there shortly.
Pompei.
Pompeii, a city of Campania. Another plural name. Hold the plurals. They will decide a rule soon. 5 more words. First, the 2 nouns that break the rules of place.
Domus.
House or home. Last lesson marked it feminine by exception. Today it shows a stranger's secret. It declines in 2 families at once. Think domicile.
Rus.
The country as against the town. Think rustic. Third declension, neuter. The plural uses only 2 of its forms.
Tergum.
The back. With the preposition meaning from, it makes a soldier's phrase.
Atergo.
Behind in the rear.
Vulnus.
Wound, think vulnerable. The nominative wears a familiar dress, but the genitive on the card tells the truth. Third declension. Neuter, the family of time and work.
Propter.
A preposition with the accusative, on account of, because of. It returns beside the wounds in today's exercises. 4 new verbs complete the 13.
Committo.
Entrust, commit. With the word for battle, it makes the idiom of the battlefield.
Prelium committere.
To join battle.
Convoco.
Call together, summon, think, convoke.
Timeo.
Fear, be afraid, think timid. Second conjugation. Its principal parts stop at the perfect. No false part exists.
Verto.
Turn, change, think, convert. And the back returns in the grimmest idiom of the set.
Tergavertere.
To turn the backs, the Roman phrase for retreat. An army that shows its backs has lost the field. Now the grammar. Sentences like these have run through every lesson.
Galba ad oppidum properat.
Galba hastens to the town.
Galba ab oppido properat.
Galba hastens from the town.
Galba in oppido habitat.
Galba lives in the town. 3 place relations, 3 rules. Rule 1, place to which. The accusative with
Ad.
or.
In.
It answers with a where to. Rule 2, place from which. The separative ablative with
A ab te e.
or.
Ex.
It answers whence, where from. Rule 3, place at or in which. The ablative with
In.
It answers where. This third ablative bears its own name from the Latin word for place.
Locus.
The locative ablative, hold that name, is about to earn its keep. Now the exception that names the lesson. Names of towns, of small islands, the house, the country, and a few other words in common use throw the preposition away. The case ending does all the work. The town first.
Galba Athenas properat.
Galba hastens to Athens, bear accusative.
Galba Athenis properat.
Galba hastens from Athens, bear ablative. Now the house and the country.
Galba domum properat.
Galba hastens home.
Galba domo properat.
From home
Galba rus properat.
to the country.
Galba rure properat.
From the country, 2 fences guard the rule. Names of countries stand outside it. Germany, Italy, Greece always keep their prepositions. And small islands walk with the towns because a small island generally holds one town, bearing the island's own name. Say the island and you have named the town. The where relation hides something older than the ablative. Latin once had a separate case for the place where the locative emerged into the ablative everywhere except one corner. the singular of the first and the second declensions where it survives in disguise, looking exactly like the genitive singular. Its range is narrow, names of towns and small islands, at home and little else. Rule 4. For the place where if the name is singular and of the first or second declension, use the locative. Otherwise the locative ablative, without a preposition. The survivors, first.
Galba Rome habitat.
Galba lives at Rome, first declension singular.
Galba Corinthi habitat.
At Corinth, second declension singular.
Galba domi habitat.
At home, the locative, the house never gave up. Now the plural names.
Galba Athenis habitat.
At Athens.
Galba Pompeis habitat.
At Pompeii. Plural names have no locative. The locative ablative steps in. The country keeps a locative too, one of the few stragglers outside those two declensions.
Ruri.
In the country, with plain
Rure.
as the rarer alternative. Now the double life of the house, the word has forms of both the second and the fourth declension. Stem.
Domu.
Basin.
Dom.
The singular.
Domus domus domui. Domum domo.
So far, last lesson's fourth declension almost sell for sell. But two cells offer a choice. The dative also accepts
Domo.
and the ablative also accepts
Domu.
the plural.
Domus. Domum. Domibus. Domos. Domibus.
Choices again, the genitive may be
Domorum.
and the accusative may be.
Domus.
Second declension and fourth declension forms live side by side in one word, and above the whole table floats the form you already know.
Domi.
At home, the locative. One house, two families, one heirloom case. Drill the whole system. I give the English, you give the Latin form. To Athens.
Atenas.
Bear accusative from Rome.
Roma.
Bar ablative at Corinth.
Corinthi.
The locative dressed as a genitive at Pompeii.
Pompeis.
Plural name locative ablative at home.
Domi.
In the country.
Ruri.
6 answers and not one preposition among them. The lesson in miniature. Now read Latin, translate each sentence in the pause. First,
Caesar genavam exercitum magnis itineribus duxit.
Caesar led his army to Geneva by great marches. The Roman phrase for forced marches, to Geneva. A town name, bear accusatives, the marches ride in the ablative of means. Next,
Roma consul equo veloc rus properavit.
from Rome, the consul hastened on a swift horse to the country. One short sentence, two bare cases, from Rome in the ablative to the country in the accusative, and between them the swift horse, an ablative of means in lesson 45's one-ending adjective. Now the place where next.
Domi consulis homines multi sedebant.
At the consul's house, many men were sitting. The locative meaning at home takes a genitive beside it. At the home of the consul. Next,
Pompeis multas Romanorum domos videre poteritis.
at Pompeii, you will be able to see many houses of the Romans. The opening word is a locative ablative on a plural name. The houses stand in the accusative plural, the second declension choice from today's table. And the sentence still tells the truth. The houses of Pompeii stand open to this day. Now you write the Latin, Caesar first. After his arrival, Caesar called the soldiers together and commanded them to join battle.
Post adventum sum Caesar milites convocavit et eos prelium committere iussit.
After his arrival, last lesson's noun and preposition, then two of today's verbs, called together, and the idiom join battle. Next, the enemy hastened to retreat. some because they were afraid, others because of wounds.
Hostes terga vertere propera verunt, aliquod timebant, ali propter vulnera.
To retreat is to turn the backs, and mark the two faces of because, before a verb, a conjunction, before a noun, today's preposition with the accusative, on account of wounds. Two more. Caesar, the famous general, when he had departed from Rome, hastened to the Roman province on a swift horse.
Caesar, imperator clarus, ubi Roma disceserat, equo veloce ad provinciam Romanam properavit.
From Rome, bear ablative, but the province keeps its preposition. A province is a territory, not a town, and on a swift horse becomes by a swift horse the ablative of means. Last, Marcus and Sextus are my brothers. The one lives at Rome, the other in the country.
Marcus et Sextus fratre mei sunt, alter Rom habitat, alter Ruri.
The old pair word, the one, the other of two, then two locatives close it, at Rome, in the country, not a preposition in sight. The exercises are done. A story begins, one the world has never stopped telling. Daedalus and Icarus. Translate each sentence in the pause. First,
Creta est insula antiqua, coe aqua alta magni maris pulsatur.
Crete is an ancient island which is beaten by the deep water of the Great Sea, a present passive verb with the water as ablative of means. Next,
Ibi olim minos erat rex.
there once Minos was king. Next,
Ad eum venit Daedalus qui ex Grecia patria fugebat.
to him came Daedalus, who was fleeing from Greece, his fatherland. Mark the preposition. Greece is a country, not a town. From Greece keeps its little word, just as the fence demands. Next,
Eum minos rex benignis verbis accepit et ei domicilium in Creta dedit.
King Minos received him with kind words and gave him a dwelling place in Crete. The dwelling place is the house's cousin word, and Crete keeps its preposition. A great island, not a small one. Only the small ones walk with the towns. Next,
Quo in loco Daedalus sinecura vivebat et regi multa et clara opera facebat.
and in this place Daedalus lived without care and made many famous works for the king. The first word looks like a relative pronoun, but it reaches back to the sentence before. Latin calls it the connecting relative. English says and plus a pointing word, and in this place. Next,
Post tempus longum autem Daedalus patriam caram desiderare incepit.
after a long time, however, Daedalus began to long for his dear fatherland. The little word for however keeps last lesson's habit, never first in its sentence. Here it slips in behind the opening phrase. Last,
Domum properare studebat, sed regi persuadere non potuit et mare sevum fugam vetabat.
he was eager to hasten home, but he could not persuade the king, and the savage sea forbade flight. Today's grammar in the wild, home in the bare accusative, the whole lesson in one word. And there the story holds its breath. A builder on an island, a king who will not release him, a sea that cannot be crossed. Every road is closed, except one. The lesson in one breath, place to which, accusative with,
Ad,
or,
in,
place from which, ablative with,
a, ab, de, e,
or,
eg,
place at or in which, the locative ablative with.
in,
But names of towns and small islands, the house and the country, drop every preposition, and for the place where singular names of the first and the second declensions revive the oldest case in the book, the locative, dressed as a genitive.
Rōmē, Corinthi, Domi.
Plural names fall back on the locative ablative.
Athenis, Pompeis.
Countries never join the exception. The house declines in 2 families and keeps a locative of its own. 13 new words are yours, 4 of them names on the map. Next lesson, the last noun family Latin owns, the 5th declension. The ablative learns to tell time, and the Daedalus finds the one road no king can close. To practice what you just learned, this course has free exercises and AI-graded feedback on ludium.ai. The link is in the description.